Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm with a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. The Outlander is completely new this year. Everything about it has changed, so there's a lot to go over. Let's check it out. You didn't notice, I'm wearing a new hat. My friend Jamal sent this to me. From Jamal, aka Jamal. Or maybe it's Jamal, aka Jamal. Anyway, check out his channel. He sent me this, said, hey, could you wear this on one of your videos? Well, I am. Not a sponsor. So, biggest change with the Mitsubishi this year is it is now really windy. See, I turn on the camera, hit the mics, and what happens? The wind picks up automatically. I've been out here probably 15 minutes taking photos. No wind. Now, wind. Anyway. So, biggest change with the Mitsubishi is pretty much everything. The underpinnings of this, now that Mitsubishi is merged with Nissan, or well, allianced, basically merged with Nissan, this is now made mostly by Nissan. The underpinnings, so the chassis, framework, the engine, the transmission, etc., those are all now Nissan. So as far as how this performs underneath the hood, this is exactly the same as a Nissan Rogue, but still a Mitsubishi in several ways. First, still has all-wheel control. All-wheel control is Mitsubishi's version of all-wheel drive, uses a lot more electronics and smart thinking to do things like make sure you always have traction to whatever wheels can actually move the vehicle. I've tried all-wheel control in the past and always been highly impressed. Driven it on ice, snow, in mud, on dirt, etc. Now this, because it's now Nissan, I don't know if anything has changed, but as far as I can tell reading the literature, nothing has changed there. So still, in my opinion, the best bad weather system there is. There is nothing better than all-wheel control for bad weather. So the downer there is this 4-cylinder engine in this, 181 horsepower, goes to a continuously variable transmission. Same engine as you will find in the Rogue. That's a bummer. There's no longer a V6 option for this. That's sad, but the engine is good enough, but not great. So you're not going to get a whole lot of speed or power out of it, but it doesn't suck. It's just not great. So if you're looking for a sports car, this isn't it. For getting around doing everyday stuff, this is great. This is fine. Design-wise, this is completely different. Let's have a look at that. So here you can see the design elements. This is a great-looking vehicle. A lot better looking, in my opinion, than most of the vehicles in this size market. Also, I need to point out right off the bat, this is one of the only small, not mid-size, small SUVs you can get in the Rogue, RAV4, etc. size range that has a third row option. I'll show you the third row later. It's a little bit cramped, but it's there and useful. So, anyway, design-wise, Mitsubishi went for simple is more, which is a great design. So up here on the hood, it's basically flat. Has a couple of dips and curves here and there to give it some accent. The front end looks really good. I really like the lines down here, though. So if you look at the fender line, you see there's two of them running along here. It's kind of like a juice groove in a cutting board, right? Just runs from right about there, fades in, comes around, and then fades back out. This line on the inside continues and goes down, and it just makes for a kind of a I don't know, it just looks really cool. I don't know why. It's probably the way it catches light, because now you have a shelf, another little tiny shelf, and more shelf. It just gives it a lot of movement. It's really nice looking. And this runs along here, kind of the Mitsubishi clamshell hood, of course, which is kind of a hallmark. And then running along, you have a little line from the hood here that comes along here that's almost flat and then starts to turn towards you. And that creates this belt line. It fades out right past the mirror right here and kind of makes the chrome here become that belt line. So it makes this across there. And then right below that is this body crease. It fades in right about here and comes in, it goes across the door handles, and then dips under the rear tail lamp, comes down here and curves this way to suggest a circle, but it fades out right down there. Really cool looking look for it. It's a very, instead of creating a lot of forward movement, because usually in design on these, they want the vehicle to look like it's moving forward, so everything will kind of tilt this way and create a forward movement for the vehicle. This creates a more kind of refined movement. So you still have the forward movement, but it's not as accented. It's not pushing for that sporty look. It's pushing more for a classy look, and it pulls that off really, really well. So you see this light shelf here, underneath this big crease, it dips in and back out. So you have some bone lines creating a curve in and back out like that. So it goes like this. Really pretty, kind of a Coke bottle from the side silhouette. So rather than like, Coke bottle is usually associated with vehicles like the Chevy Corvette, vehicles like that. That's where you turn the vehicle on its side and it gives you that kind of woman's body profile, right? This one instead is done this way visually, and that creates a lot of light movement across this panel. It's really good looking. And then across here you can see the roof is flat, and they didn't even try to make it not look flat. They just left it, and there's no reason to change that. What I do wish it happened is that they had some sort of two-tone option, so you could change this to be a different color than the body and have kind of two-tone happening. Blacked out the pillars, kind of a thing now. Everybody's doing it. Floating roof is a thing now too, so you got that happening up here, and then you can see this thick pillar here gives it a lot of strength and robust appeal, because they want you to see this as an SUV, and that does a good job of it. And then you see the tail lights right here coming around, kind of like wraparound sunglasses. Really good look. I really like it. And the Mitsubishi has used this style of wheel, not this exact same wheel, they've changed over time, but this style for a long time, and I really like that look. It's a really good kind of a, I don't know, I think of it like a food chopper blade is what it looks like to me. It's a really good look. Let's go around the working end, check that out, and then we'll get inside. So you can see on the back here, it's sporty at the top, flat on the bottom. So they went with a fairly large spoiler, pretty robust, and then a very sharp rake right here, and then it flattens out. That creates all the lighting you're seeing happening back here. You got a shelf here, you got another one created by the lighting there, and then this dips out a little bit, kind of comes in a curve like this, so it dips out a little bit, creates more light catching down there, and then of course the bumper cuts. Underneath, on the inside here, this is the cargo area. Now I have one of the third row seats deployed right here, so cargo's pretty small behind that. This space under here is taken up usefully by the cargo cover that you can put across if these seats are down, and then it comes out, clips on here, covers your cargo, and also the headrests right here fit underneath that in here. So useful, smart use of storage right there. I don't know if I'm even in the camera, I'm probably cutting my head off, but whatever, you get the idea. And then you have like a milk jug size storage on either side, and then you can see this third row. You can drop the second row using these right here. There's one on each side, drops that second row seat. Third row seats, you deploy them with this and stow them with this. You take the headrest all the way out, right? Comes all the way off, pull it out, and then you pull this down and fold it. The third row, or with the third row down, you have a decent amount of cargo space. I have to lean in to touch those seats. Pretty good amount of cargo space. So this is a little bit good. This is a nice and versatile, is a word I should find. Nice versatile cargo space. You have some tie downs in the corners. You have, so there's D-hooks up here for tie downs, and then there's some over here hiding in the side, so you can tie things down when you have this row down. These seats are good for kids. I wouldn't try to put adults. I'm certainly not going to try to get back there. There's this much leg room, and that's because I moved that seat up a little bit. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go on the inside, and then yeah, we'll talk about paperwork. How much does this thing cost? Okay, here I am in the second row. Two things I want to note. First, it's really easy to get in and out of here. These doors open to a full 90 degrees. Second, I feel really cramped. There's a reason for that. I moved this seat forward so that there would be leg room in the back seat. If I do that so it's normal, I'm a whole lot better off, but I'm still lacking in headroom. I think if I was 6 feet, maybe 6'1", I would be fine. but because of this panoramic sunroof and the big dip down it creates, and just the fact that this seat won't adjust, I am really not comfortable back here. So that's something to note. Now, storage is cool. There's like a pocket that's about the size of your phone. There's a little bigger one here, and then there's another one down here. Same on that side. There's built-in window shades, so you can see those. Those are cool. This has heated rear seats on the outboard. A few other things. We'll go over the Monroney so you can see what package this is. But this is a little cramped back here for somebody my size. Now, my kids have been back here and they've been fine. My wife, just fine. So if you're under 6 feet, back here is great. But if you're over 6 feet like me, not so much. Up here in the front, I feel really good. I have tons of room. It's nice and comfy. These seats are awesome. Everything fits well. It looks really good. Now, this particular model has a whole lot of extra goodies added on. The bigger infotainment screen. It has the My Pilot, M-I-P-I-L-O-T, which is basically Nissan's Pro Pilot system. Adaptive cruise, etc. Really nicely set up for that. Heated seats, and so bun warmers and heated steering wheel. The AC in here takes a little while to kick in before it really does anything. I mean, you have a tiny little 4-cylinder engine under there trying to chug away to fill this big cabin with cool air. Something's going to give. So AC, you're going to have to, this doesn't have remote start. If it did, if you got that package, then I would start it and let it sit for a minute and screw your fuel economy and let it cool off if you live in where it's hot. Right now we're at 6,400 feet in altitude and it is nearly 90 degrees. So what we're looking at is a very, very hot day. That sun comes right down. There's no atmosphere to block it. So anyway, nicely done here. Couple of notes. One, it's not in a hurry, but it's not slow. You won't feel like you don't have enough. You'll just always feel like you wish there was a little more. So if you're just a regular everyday driver, that's probably not going to bother you much. This gets around pretty nicely. Feels good to drive. I will say that it's not sluggish and boring. It has a little better tuning, I would say, than the Nissan Rogue that it shares a lot of stuff with. The infotainment is okay, but it's not great. This is Nissan's system. It's not Mitsubishi, so it's a little iffy sometimes. Just in terms of there's a lot of menus to go through, and there's not a good way to bypass it. You have to go through all those menus. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You have to plug in for those. It is not wireless. There's just a pretty decent everything in here as far as what you're getting for the price tag. So let's get to that. Let's talk about that. Price tag for this. Looking at the Monroney, this is the SEL, so it's pretty close to the top end package with all-wheel control, of course. Total price for this, $37,900. This is a $38,000 vehicle with delivery. That is amazingly cheap. You will not find another vehicle with this much stuff in it for this price in this category. Second thing I want to note is the warranty. Mitsubishi's warranty is one of the best in the business. 10 years, 100,000 miles, 7 years, 100,000 miles, 5 years, 60,000 miles, 5 years unlimited, depending. This is the best warranty in the business. You will not find another company that gives a warranty this good. And the only reason I can say that is because Kia and Hyundai dropped theirs to 7 years. So I really have to say that is a high selling point for me, is when a manufacturer gives a great warranty. So yeah, this is a great vehicle. And really from the consumer side, there isn't a whole lot to hate about this. It's useful and versatile. It has a couple of downsides, really, but they're things that most of us could live with. They're not things that are deal breakers, as far as most people I know that are going to be shopping for something like this. So that's it. I'm done standing out here in the heat talking to you. This has been the 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander full size. This is the full Outlander, not the Outlander Sport. That's a completely different vehicle. This is the Outlander 3-row, and it is, like I said, I can't get over the fact that it is under $40,000, and we're not talking like $39,995. This is about 38 grand right here as it sits with all this stuff and delivery. $38,000 for this thing, and it is more luxurious than a lot of vehicles I've driven that are close to this or above this price range, and it has a 10-year warranty. I don't know what else to say. Everything about it is good. It's well done. So, nice. Yeah, that's it. This is what I got. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.